He started with a coin, just one, not a treasure chest, not a miracle. A single coin set aside from the many that begged to be spent. 10%, nothing more, nothing less. And yet, it was everything. You see, Akkad didn't just save, he declared war on poverty, not by shouting or demanding more from the world, but by demanding more from himself. Because poverty isn't just a lack of money, it's a lack of command. It's waking up every day and letting other people's priorities spend your time, your energy, and your paycheck before you do. That's why Babylon's wisdom hits harder now than ever. We live in a time of noise, alerts, subscriptions, sales, 1,000 distractions a day screaming for our wallet. And most people, they need money without even knowing it. But Akkad, he fought back. Not with rage, but with reading. Every month, like clockwork, 10% went to his purse. Not because he had extra, not because he felt inspired, but because he refused to break the law of God. This is where most people fail. They treat financial success like a moon, something you chase when life's easy, something you will get to later. But later is a lie. If you can't master money when it's little, you will never master it when it's large. That's why millionaires go bankrupt. That's why side hustles collapse. That's why more money solves nothing for people who think like consumers and not commanders. Let me show you something. John D. Rockefeller, the oil titan, he kept a ledger of every dime he spent, not to look rich, to become unbreakable, to develop a grip on gold so tight it bowed to his will. And that's what Akkad was doing. Line by line, coin by coin, he was building what the Babylonians called a pattern force. It was more than money, it was proof. Proof that he could create his own future, one saved coin at a time. And with that proof, he gained something most people never earn: self-trust. Because the moment you start keeping promises to yourself, especially with money, the world starts treating you differently. Opportunities open, respect flows, even the wealthy begin to notice, and that's exactly what happened. Akkad's purse grew, and with it, his hunger for knowledge. So he asked the richest man he knew, "What should I do with my savings?" The man smiled. Not with arrogance, but with understanding. Because every builder must face this moment, the shift from saving to strategy. He said, "Let thy gold multiply. Guard it like a warrior, and never lend it to the unwise." Simple, yet stronger than any modern finance blog. Because it cuts through the fog and hits the core. Money is a force. Direct it or be destroyed by it. The untrained investor sees gold and grows greedy. They rush, they risk, they fall. But Akkad, he was warned. He made a mistake. Lent his savings to a brickmaker who promised to buy jewels from far lands. Jewel trade from a brickmaker, the money was lost. And in that pain, Akkad learned something Wall Street doesn't teach. Return is nothing without respect. Your money must be handled by those who understand it, not dreamers, not gamblers, not the loudest voice in the room, but those who live what they preach, who move slow, steady, and smart. Henry Ford didn't guess. He studied, he failed, he built, he learned the cost of bad judgment, and he paid it in public. But he never repeated it, neither did Alcard. He saved the game, and this time he gave his gold to a shield maker, a man skilled in iron, trade, and reputation. And slowly the coins returned. Not all at once, not fast enough to brag about, but sure, reliable, steady. That's how real wealth works. Not in viral wins, but in disciplined agreements with time. And now, we turn inward. What does this mean for you? It means your first move isn't to find the perfect people, or the fastest stop, or the next big thing. It's to become a master of money direction. Like Alcard, like Rockefeller, like Carnegie, who once worked for $1.20 a week in a factory so hot it peeled the skin off your back, but saved every cent in religious discipline. These men didn't wait for perfect tools, they sharpened themselves. So sharpen yours. Start today. Save 10% of whatever you earn, no matter how small, how unstable, how inconsistent. That's your battlefield. Your war is not against poverty. Your war is against inconsistency. And every time you win, every time you save what you could have spent, you become someone stronger than a millionaire. You become undefeatable. But Alcard didn't stop with gold that merely returned. That was only the foundation, because real financial power, dynasty power, is not just in the return of gold, but in the multiplication of its children. You see, he learned that coins are like soldiers. You don't keep them sleeping in a vault. You send them to war, armed, protected, and trained to bring back more. And the true magic, when your coin's children starts bringing back their own offspring, that is the compound law of Babylon. Not compounding in percentage terms like your bank says, but compounding of intentional decisions, compounding of discipline, compounding of identity. Because wealth is not just numbers, it's a signal. And Alcard was no longer signaling desperation, he was signaling control. And in Babylon, control attracts opportunity like water to the roots of an olive tree. People came to him, they whispered deals, they offered partnerships. Because when your habits are strong enough to bend gold, the world wants to know your name. Now, pause for a second. Let this hit you. Because in today's economy, everyone's talking about visibility, virality, and views. But Babylon teaches the opposite. Power isn't earned by shouting. It's earned by showing, quietly, daily, without applause. Do you think Andrew Carnegie was born with confidence? He wasn't. He forged it. He walked into rooms where he was the least educated man and still made deals that shook the continent. Why? Because he did the work before anyone was watching. Because he built his value before he sold his vision. That's what Alcard did. He didn't post boots, he didn't flex, he built. 10% saved, invested wisely, let it go. Protect it fiercely. That was his daily reading. and it carved his legacy in stone. Let me ask you, are you spending like a king with the purse of a servant? Are you addicted to looking rich before becoming rich? Because here's the brutal truth. Babylon doesn't reward illusion, and neither does life. You can trick the algorithm, but you can't trick the laws of God. Gold flows towards patience, precision, principle, and it flees from impulse, ignorance, evil. This is why Akkad grew. He didn't build wealth to escape Babylon. He built wealth to serve Babylon, to learn, to teach, to lead. And one day, the same man who once begged for wisdom became the teacher of kings. Now hear this, because this is the core. Babylon isn't gone. It lives in every decision you make with money. Every time you choose instant pleasure over long-term peace, you deny Babylon's wisdom. Every time you scroll past knowledge to watch noise, you trade your destiny for distraction. But every time you choose to save, to study, to invest with strategy, Babylon wakes up inside you. The ancient streets rise, the temples return, the gold flows again. Not to those who chase, but to those who command. And the greatest command you will ever give is this: no matter what I earn, I will keep a part of it. I will make it good, and I will protect it until it buys back my time. That's the oath of the wealthy. Not millionaires on Instagram, not gurus in rented jets, but real builders, the quiet ones, the ones you never see coming, the ones whose habits make them inevitable. Look back at history. Rockefeller, Carnegie, Ford. They didn't rise with hacks, they rose with laws, Babylonian laws, and they embedded them in companies, cities, nations, because they knew what most forgot. Gold is just a mirror. It reflects who you are when no one is watching. So who are you? Are you the one who talks, or the one who tracks? The one who waits, or the one who warps time by acting with urgency? Akkad became the richest man in Babylon not by luck or by chance, but by daily war. War against laziness, war against excuses, war against that voice in his head that said, "It's only one coin, it doesn't matter." But indeed, every coin matters. Every dollar is data. Every cent is a signal. Because money doesn't lie, it reveals. And Akkad's coin trade revealed this. He could be trusted. He could delay pleasure. He could lead with action. And the city followed. Because when one man masters gold, he doesn't just change his life. He raises the standard for everyone around him. He becomes a compass, a North Star. An example of what's possible when a person obeys ancient law in a modern world. So now it's your turn. Not to admire Babylon, but to build your own. It won't be easy. There will be noise, pressure, mockery, self-doubt. But if you plant the first coin and protect it like a lion protects its cubs, you will rise. Because you are no longer spending, you are commanding. No longer reacting, you are designing. You are no longer a servant of money, You are its master.